Alrighty guys, it is Qaaman here today, and I'm responding to Rhymestyle's anime tag. He tagged me, and essentially what an anime tag is I'm supposed to answer these 16 questions, and Sheikah's Clouds tagged him. So what I'm going to be doing in this video today is I'll be quickly going over these 16 questions, you know, basically asking me all these questions about anime. I wouldn't consider myself an otaku for sure, but I do have a moderate, you know, knowledge of different animes. I'm not the biggest anime guy in the world, but I definitely have enough to, you know, answer these questions. So without wasting any more time, let's get straight into this video. And after I do this, I'm going to tag several YouTubers, and I'm also going to tag all of you guys in the comment section to share your anime tag. So how did you start your reviewer alias? Well, like, I'm not necessarily a reviewer, but I'll translate the word reviewer or review to YouTubing and videos. So I became I got my alias name because when I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh, I originally created an account on Dueling Network because my previous account got banned because I was actually using a proxy server to play it while I was actually in school because the school would keep blocking that website. And essentially I was like, well, I'm just gonna make this name up, you know, and essentially the name was supposed to be QAA Man. And what's funny about that is the QAA stands for my full name, and for those of you who've been around for my channel a long time, you guys know what it is. And the man was to add like a superhero effect to my name, so it's supposed to be QAA Man, but obviously when people look at it at first glance, they're gonna actually try to pronounce it. It's similar to when I used to play RuneScape. I used to call my character QAA12, and that's why my YouTube username is actually QAA12, because I had QAA12 way before I ever even started doing YouTube videos. That was like my original name because I never expected to become a YouTuber, but I was like, why am I gonna make a new account? I already have a YouTube account. So that's essentially why I have QAA12 and why I have the name Qaaman. And yes guys, I know that a lot of you guys misspelled the name QUA. I see that a lot, but that's essentially how I got the name Qaaman, QAA Man, but I gotta pronounce it for you guys. How long have you been doing reviews? Well, I'll translate that to videos. I've been making videos since late 2011, and all of my videos were essentially Yu-Gi-Oh related. And I basically started doing anime stuff once I noticed that, to be quite honest, my Yu-Gi-Oh potential wasn't really going anywhere, doing videos for about a year and 3 months and not really gaining any subscribers or any type of traffic. I said, why don't I just try talking about Dragon Ball Z? I've always wanted to talk about it. And before I did that, I made some AMVs that are still actually on my channel. I think they're like Piccolo's a boss, you know, Gohan's a freak, Trunks and Vegeta. I made all those AMVs. They weren't very good, but, you know, that's essentially how I became a reviewer. I just, you know, transitioned my channel over. Why did I start making reviews? Well, I kind of answered this in the previous question. The reason I did it was because, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh wasn't really working out. The Yu-Gi-Oh market was extremely saturated, and quite frankly, I think that making the transition to Dragon Ball Z and most of the anime related stuff and doing some Yu Yu Hakusho and all that stuff, I think that was a much better transition because of the fact that the Dragon Ball Z and the anime community is significantly stronger than the Yu-Gi-Oh community. Quite frankly, in my opinion, if you look at a lot of these Yu-Gi-Oh channels, you know, a lot of these guys are declining because the game itself is declining. Yu-Gi-Oh has just become a game that's not even fun to play anymore. In my opinion, I still love the game. I'd play it every now and then for friends with fun, but some of the ridiculously broken decks today are they're just not fun to play with anymore. How many times do you watch an episode or a series while reviewing it? Well, that's a very good question because I actually make a lot of videos and I use footage in my videos to support what I'm saying. A lot of times when I do a segment or anything along that sort, I have a tendency to probably reread my manga volumes. Yes, guys, I own the Dragon Ball Z manga volumes, all 26, and I own like 10 of the 16 Dragon Ball mangas. I'm gonna get the 6, but I want to get the original 6. I don't like the cleaned up, you know, additional Viz Media one that took on all the profanity and a lot of the original content that was provided in the original ones, and until I can find those at a reasonable price, I wouldn't do it. But I always rewatch, you know, anime whenever I'm gonna talk about it, or whenever I'm gonna do a video, because I need to have, you know, like fresh memory, and that goes a lot into the video editing process. So But on my free time, I do have a tendency to rewatch episodes just for fun. Like, for example, I'm currently watching Case Closed again. I love Case Closed, and I just find it a lot of fun to watch. What is your favorite genre to review and why? That's a very good question. My favorite genre of anime to review. This might sound a bit obvious, but I'm gonna have to go with, I guess, action related shows. I mean, I like Bleach, I like Dragon Ball Z, I like Yu Yu Hakusho. I like Yu Yu Hakusho especially because it's more of cerebral fighting than anything else. I mean, most of the animes I've watched were fighting related. I love action. I'm not gonna lie, action is one of the main reasons I like anime, because I feel like you could do a lot more with animation than what you could do with, you know, real life, you know, effects, even though some real life effects are amazing. So, quite frankly, I'll say my favorite genre to review is action or action-oriented, you know, genres. And I also like adventure too, but adventure and action are usually, you know, correlated. What is your most unfamiliar genre? I'd probably have to say sports. I have a friend in real life who's been telling me about some animes that are about basketball, and you know, and there was also this one about tennis. I don't remember the name off the top of my head. And there was also one about this guy who was a really good chess player, even though I guess chess is not really a sport. But I definitely love, you know, sports, and I'm an enormously huge NBA, NFL fan in real life. So because of that, I'd consider watching anime for sports, because I watch everything about sports in real life. Why not give anime a chance? Alright, what's the one thing that persuades you to keep watching an anime after episode 1? Well, for me personally, it has to be the characters. I need to get into the characters in order for me to like an anime. Quite frankly, when I saw Dragon Ball Z for the first time, since that's what most of you, like 99% of you, subscribed to me for, when I first saw Dragon Ball Z, what really caught me in was because of the characters, and they were interesting. I mean, it's not normal where you see a bald-headed guy, you know, watching this green cockroach-looking monster who absorbed this cute-looking anime blonde chick. That's not something you see on a normal basis, and it's not normal when you see a guy whose hair goes from purple to gold, and he starts punching that super cockroach, and it's not doing anything. So, all of these things, guys, like that, watching that scene, and I still tell you guys, like, my brother showed me a lot of clips of Dragon Ball Z, but that was really the first scene of Dragon Ball Z that I remembered vividly, watching that episode with my sister. And had it not been such a weird thing with these weird looking characters doing such a unique thing, I probably would have never got into the show. I think it's the characters and their personality that gets me into a show. Who is your favorite Japanese or English voice actor? Well, I'll be honest with you guys right now, I'm not a big fan of Japanese voice acting, and I'm not saying that because I have anything against it. It's just that, quite frankly, I just think the voices are kind of... the voices would be weird for somebody who's a Westerner, or a person who, you know, is more adapted to Western culture, and it wouldn't be as susceptible. I like hearing English, you know, voice actors. For Japan, I'm sure it's probably a lot, you know, it's probably, you know, not as, I guess you would say, normal for them to listen to, you know, Occidentals, you know, as well as we would say the same thing for Orientals. So, quite frankly, guys, I'm not a big fan of the Japanese voice acting, but for my English voice actor, Rhymestyle said Christopher Sabat. I don't want to be biased and say that I just like Christopher Sabat because he voiced Piccolo, but I would say my favorite English voice actor would definitely have to be Stephanie Nadolny. I think the job she did for Kid Goku and Gohan was sensational, and I think that she's just an amazing voice actor, and it's very, very sad that, you know, she's gone, but I definitely think Stephanie Nadolny is awesome. Favorite anime soundtrack? Without question, Solid State Scouter. It's not even close. Favorite anime song that you crank up and dance to? I don't dance, so I can't really answer this one appropriately. But in terms of dancing, I mean, yeah, I don't really dance to anime music, sorry. What anime song are you currently addicted to? Well, this is kind of weird because for most anime songs, for me personally, a lot of the songs that I have, that I get through, you know, alternative methods that I cannot say for legality purposes. I would say that for anime songs, well, the thing is, a lot of the music that I listen to, I don't even know the names of the tracks. Like, for all of the Bruce Falconer tracks, like, I have to name a lot of the songs myself. And a lot of, you know, the other tracks from, like, Case Closed or Inuyasha, I love a lot of the music from that. And Yu Yu Hakusho. Yu Yu Hakusho, like, good luck trying to find names for tracks. I just like the songs, and I know that some are related to characters. So, quite frankly, I can't give you, like, one name. So, but saying addicted, I wouldn't say I'm addicted to any song, but I like enjoying them. So, but yeah, I don't really know songs off the top of my head in terms of names. Alright, do you like to buy anime merchandise? If so, what do you collect? Well, I love to collect manga volumes. I collected most of the Yu Yu Hakusho manga set. I have the entire Dragon Ball Z, most of Dragon Ball, even though it's really a 42 set. I'm currently actually trying to consider looking for other types of anime. You know, Duct Tape's been telling me about, you know, One Punch Man. I'm going to start looking into that too. So I guess if there's one thing I'd like to get, it would probably be manga. Is that really merchandise? No, but that's probably the only thing I really would buy, because I like having the physical books and reading through them. It's a really unique experience to read, especially like the black and white ones. The color ones, I actually prefer the old ones, because I feel like it gets you more involved in the characters instead of the nice pretty colors. Alright, what is your guilty pleasure anime? Well, Bible Black is my guilty pleasure anime. What anime made you cry? None. I've never cried for any anime or any movie in my entire life. The closest I ever came to crying or having some emotional, you know, feeling for, or I guess you would say a severe emotional attachment to like any type of fictional character dying or being injured or something, would probably have to be, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. As a matter of fact, I won't spoil it. It's for a show called The Walking Dead. I'm actually I'm a huge Walking Dead fan, and a certain character on The Walking Dead died in a very, very gruesome way, and that probably was the closest I ever got to feeling for a character, because I really didn't expect that character to die. Duct Tape, if you go to the Comic Corner, you guys will know exactly what death I'm referring to. It did happen in the most recent season, but I'm not going to say anything to spoil it for anybody. So yeah, that's the closest I've ever gotten to, and I still didn't cry, so I don't cry for anime. Alright, favorite food to eat when you're having an anime marathon? That's a very good question. I would usually eat anything that's around, but I guess if I had to say one snack that I really, really enjoy, it would probably have to be Flamin' Hot Cheetos. I love Flamin' Hot Cheetos. I know it gets your fingers really, really messy, but I think Flamin' Hot Cheetos are amazing. They're my favorite snack in the world to eat, and I would eat them with basically anything. And for the final question of the day, what anime are you currently watching right now? Well, Case Closed is probably the one that I've gotten back into. I really love Case Closed, and I'll just like to close this out by saying my love of anime really came a little bit older in my life, because Dragon Ball Z was really like the only show I'd watched up to a point. I really started getting a taste for other animes when I finally got Cartoon Network to broadcast where I live. And Cartoon Network, when it started broadcasting, you know, I was exposed to Toonami, because I was actually late to the Toonami party. I didn't see Toonami until I was, you know, a lot older than probably a lot of you were, because, you know, I didn't have it. And, you know, quite frankly, watching Toonami got me into, you know, cartoons and animes in general. And what really got me into anime was, you know, when I would stay up late and watch Adult Swim, you know, against my parents' discretion, and I would watch Inuyasha and all those other late night Trigun and Cowboy Bebop and a lot of these other shows, and even things that wouldn't be considered anime but just cartoons in general, like Boondocks and all of those other shows that would come on like really, really late at night at Adult Swim. Lupin the Third, you know, all of these shows. I would say Adult Swim is truly where I got my love for anime, and that's where I originally saw Case Closed too. So you know, that's essentially it for today, guys. I'd love to hear your anime tag. I'm gonna post all the questions in the description. Just copy and paste and just write right under it, you know, so it's easy for me to see. And I'd love to see, you know, your thoughts in the comment section below. So most importantly, over everything else, please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. And remember, as I always say, to have a great day, guys. And before I go, I want to tag Mr. Booyah Jaxblade. Hello there, beautiful friends from around the world. It's Blackenfist. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Dragon Ball Nation. Hey guys, it's Duct Tape from Comment Corner. In addition to the last but not least, it's your boy Johny Lipships up in this.